In the gate. And they're off. Potito breaks beautifully. Mr. Dreamsicle matching strides and now taking a narrow lead. Going Mobile a length off the pace in third. They're followed by Gentleman's Club and Havoc. 4 lengths back to Mr. Suds. Potito is quickest and leads by a length now over Going Mobile second. Mr. Dreamsicle, Whitecap at the rail in third. They're followed by Gentleman's Club, Between Rivals, and Havoc on the far outside. 5 lengths back to Mr. Suds as they move into the far turn. And it is Potito the target. A half length in front. Going Mobile moves to challenge once again second. 2 more lengths, Mr. Dreamsicle at the rail. Havoc is just outside of him. Between those two, it's Gentleman's Club and 3 back to Mr. Suds. They're a quarter of a mile from home. Potito Going Mobile, a length and a half. Havoc on the outside, and they're followed by Gentleman's Club in the pink. Down at the rail, Mr. Dreamsicle, a final furlong for Potito, clinging to the lead, pulling away a length and a half over Going Mobile. Gentleman's Club in between horses, and on the rail, it's Mr. Dreamsicle. Potito Going Mobile tries him again. Potito Going Mobile. Going Mobile ran him down. Tiago Pereira did not give up, and Going Mobile beats Potito. In behind them, it was a photo for third between Gentleman's Club and Havoc. In the gate. And they're off, and Sign of the Cross is out very alertly. Mendez Mile, but here's Mike Operator sprinting up and ensuring a quick early tempo. Economical now moves up to take second. Sign of the Cross to join third, racing on the outside of Mendez Mile as they round the clubhouse turn. Then Warren's Candyman and Tembo is at the back of the field. 5 lengths covers them as they head toward the 6 furlong pole. And it's Mike Operator able to get over to the rail and leading the way now by a length and a half. Economical is racing in second. Another 2 back to Warren's Candyman, now third. Then Tembo, who's made some progress into fourth, 4 lengths off the lead. Mendez Mile is next, and Sign of the Cross is now at the back. 4.5 furlongs remain for Mike Operator. In front by a length. Economical trying to get a little closer in second. 2 more Warren's Candyman on the outside of Tembo, Mendez Mile, and Sign of the Cross. 3.5 furlongs to go. Mike Operator maintains a 1-length lead on Economical. Now it's a length and a half. Tembo is coming through along the inside, followed by Warren's Candyman in fourth. Now Sign of the Cross is moving up in between horses, 4 lengths off the lead with a quarter to go, and Mendez Miles at the back. Mike Operator trying to drift out just a touch, maintains a comfortable margin as they come toward the 8th pole. Tembo is in second. Economical, Sign of the Cross on the outside, finishing with some interest. They're inside the furlong pole, and it's Mike Operator. Mike Operator with a 4-length lead. Sign of the Cross trying to complete the exacta. Tembo will battle with him. It's going to be Mike Operator virtually coast to coast. Tembo held second, and then it got very close. It's very close for third between Mendez Mile and Sign of the Cross. In the gate. And they're off. Henny's Crazy Train, Spoiled Rotten, Classy Mademoiselle outside of them as they move into the first turn. Then it's Kawara, followed by Penn Street, and Whistler's Style is at the back. 7 furlongs to run, and Spoiled Rotten is the leader by just about a half a length. Classy Mademoiselle up alongside in second, and Henny's Crazy Train gets a good spot just behind them, 2 off the pace in third. Penn Street moves up just outside of her. Another 2 back to Whistler's Style, and then a length and a half to the trailer, Kawara. They run toward the 5/8, and it is Classy Mademoiselle who now asserts herself off the rail, leading by about a length as Spoiled Rotten comes through in second and Henny's Crazy Train in between them. Penn Street is now in fourth with 3 to make up. Whistler Style has to go wide, but is very much in the thick of it, and another length back to Kawara with less than a half mile to go. And it's Classy Mademoiselle, Henny's Crazy Train, Whistler Style, Steady Progress, Penn Street just inside of her. Spoiled Rotten has dropped out of it as the field comes to the quarter pole. Kawara goes by her. It's Classy Mademoiselle by a half a length. Henny's Crazy Train in second, and then comes Whistler Style third there at the top of the stretch. Classy Mademoiselle, narrow advantage at the rail. Henny's Crazy Train about a half length away. 3 more to Whistler Style. Core on the outside of Penn Street, a 16th to run. Classy Mademoiselle or Henny's Crazy Train. Classy Mademoiselle, Henny's Crazy Train. Here's the line. Classy Mademoiselle fends off Henny's Crazy Train. Then it was Penn Street third, and Whistler Style finished fourth. In the gate. And they're off. Perfect start. Zimba Warrior hustled out, Settecento with natural early speed, air in between them prominent, and they're joined on the far outside by a sprinting Good Juju. And so they move into the first turn, and Good Juju is up to take the lead from Air and Settecento down on the inside. A gap of more than 3. Back to Zimba Warrior in fourth, followed by My Indy and Big Buzz. 7 or 8 lengths off the front runner, Good Juju, who gets no breather as Air right back at him in second. They are followed by Settecento racing in third and now moving up in between horses. So these 3 are keeping after one another, and Settecento is now just a head behind Good Juju with Air about a length behind them in third. Then Zimba Warrior in fourth, followed by My Indy, and Big Buzz starts his move a little early. They head toward the 3/8 pole, and Good Juju opens up a length and a half again on Settecento in second. Then it's Air in third. Big Buzz, only 3 lengths off the lead in fourth. And then comes Zimba Warrior and My Indy. Approaching the quarter pole, and Big Buzz keeps moving right along on the outside, and he's within a length of Good Juju. Good Juju, Big Buzz with a sustained bid in between them. Settecento as they straighten up behind this group. Zimba Warrior now dives down toward the rail and finishing with interest too. 4 of them line up inside the 8th pole. Zimba Warrior under Kenta Sormo coming through smoothly to take the lead from Big Buzz. In between them, Settecento drops back. It is Zimba Warrior. What a ride. Winning by a neck. Big Buzz second, photo for third between Good Juju and Settecento. We're in the gate. And they're off. And Mano Rose rockets right out of the gate, opening up a length and a half in the first few jumps. On the whim comes away in second. Then it's More Try third in the early going, followed by Seaboard in the yellow colors, moving up now to take the second spot as they get back to the main course. Hill 16 is racing in between horses, followed by Glorious Life, racing 2 clear of Antibes, and Smiling Ruler is at the back of the field. It's Mano Rose and Edwin Maldonado sizzling past the half-mile pole with a 2-length advantage. On the whim in second by 3. Then More Try a clear-cut third. Hill 16 inches up inside of Seaboard. That pair followed by Glorious Life. Antibes starts to pick it up 3 deep and a gap of 5 back to Smiling Ruler. They are strung out with a quarter of a mile to go. Mano Rose still with a 2.5 length lead. On the whim, firing big in second. 5 lengths back. More Try third. They're a final furlong away. Mano Rose has to try and fend off On the Whim. On the Whim within a length. On the Whim closing stoutly on the outside of Mano Rose, and he's got him. It will be on the whim, and Ramon Vasquez pulling away for an authoritative score. Mano Rose second. Glorious Life was third, in front of More Try and Hill 16. Low Expectations will be the last one to load. And they're off. Elevado is going to the front. Afjan in between horses and Low Expectations, followed by Brightleaf and Park City at the back of the field. So it's Elevado to set the pace, 7 furlongs from the wire. Leading by about a length over Low Expectations, then a line of 3. Park City, Brightleaf in between, Afjan outside of them. 6 furlongs to run, Elevado narrowly, just ahead in front of Low Expectations. Afjan White, blinkers on the outside, 3 deep in third. Brightleaf is racing in between horses, and Park City at the rail, no more than 3 lengths covers the field. They run down the back stretch, and it's Elevado and Low Expectations head and head. Afjan in the 3 path has 2 lengths to make up. Park City and Brightleaf are right together at the back of this compact group that heads into the far turn. And it's Elevado at the rail and Low Expectations a neck behind second. Another couple of lengths back to Afjan, who's been third throughout. Park City fourth. The heavy favorite Brightleaf is last, pushed along on the outside, has 4 lengths to make up with a quarter of a mile to go. And it's Elevado leading the way, has been pressed throughout by Low Expectations. Brightleaf getting going on the far outside now. Afjan is just inside of that rival. There's an 1/8 of a mile to go, and Brightleaf is grinding away. Looked hopelessly beaten at the quarter pole, and he blows by them at the 16th pole. Brightleaf and J.G. Torrealba will prove much the best, pulling away to score by 3.5. Low Expectations, photo for third between Afjan and Park City. Son. They're in the gate. And they're off. Immelman is out quickly. Gantry along the inside has some early gas too. These two stride for stride. And Light Dragoon comes away in third. They're followed by Just a Guess, fourth through the opening furlong and about 4 lengths off the lead. Then comes Nestucca, who is 3 wide, racing on the outside of Fleet Brutado. The 2 trailers are Long Jacket and Helen's Son. 7 lengths covers the field. They move on to the backstretch. It's Gantry and Immelman on even terms. 2 more lengths back to Light Dragoon in third, under a hold too. And on the inside comes Just a Guess in some traffic. And on the outside, Nestucca, Pink Cap, getting a sense of this slow pace and going to put some pressure on the front runners. Fleet Brutado has 5 lengths to make up, 2.5 clear of Helen's Son and Long Jackets at the back. Less than a half mile to go. Immelman narrowly. Nestucca has made it into second, followed by Gantry third, Light Dragoon fourth. Then Just a Guess, Fleet Brutado right together. Another 2 back to Helen's Son. Long Jacket has tailed off a bit. Midway on the far turn, Nestucca on the outside, and Immelman. These 2 still head and head. 2.5 lengths back to Gantry third. Light Dragoon is next, followed at the rail by Just a Guess, Fleet Brutado. They're coming toward the 8th pole. In the center of the course, Light Dragoon starting to gain some momentum. One from the outside is Gantry. They have to get to Nestucca and Immelman. Nestucca is just in front. Down on the inside, here's Just a Guess. Just a Guess with a strong stretch kick runs by them all. Nestucca was second, Light Dragoon third in front of Fleet Brutado and Immelman. They're in the gate. And they're off in the Enokia. Sandy Bottom takes the early lead. Tambo comes away in good order, and Dua is in between those two, about 3/4 of a length off the pace. They're followed by Cheeky Gal, and Becky's Dream is at the back. 2.5 front to back. Sandy Bottom is the leader. Nicely in hand and in front by a half a length. Tambo is in second, followed at the rail by Cheeky Gal. Dua between horses. Becky's Dream widest of all. Heading to the 3/8 pole, and it's Sandy Bottom in control, a half length in front of Tambo second. Dua Redcap in between horses. Becky's Dream inches up outside of her, and Cheeky Gal is down at the rail, 1/4 of a mile to go. Sandy Bottom's been doing it very nicely throughout. Has the lead as the field turns for home. Just behind her, Cheeky Gal is trying to cut the corner. Far outside, Becky's Dream, Tambo, and Dua. There's an 1/8 to go, and Sandy Bottom lets it out a notch. A strong performance from her as she opens up 3 past the 16th pole. And it's Sandy Bottom, daughter of Omaha Beach, remaining undefeated by taking the Enokia. Tambo really fought hard and came back for more second. Becky's Dream was third. Ninth race, scratch number 2, Midnight Colorado Cruiser to the outside. They're off. EJ Won the Cup is very quick. Colorado Cruiser on the outside has speed. Here comes Urban Legend through, showing good early foot, and Nisos is one from the rail. Just behind this group, we have De Medici, who's about 5 lengths off them now. Tracker is down at the rail. It's a gap of 6 to the next flight, headed by British Isles. Outside, Mischief Moments. Inside of them comes Citadino and another 4, Better Than Gold. Around the far turn, heads apart on the front end, Urban Legend and Nisos going at it. 2.5 more. EJ Won the Cup is in third. They are followed by Colorado Cruiser fourth with 5 to make up, and 2 more to Tracker. They pass the quarter pole and turn for home, and Nisos goes on strongly. Leads a half length now to Urban Legend down at the rail. Nisos, Urban Legend, 1-2. A big gap to the rest, and it turns into a 1-horse race as Nisos firing huge 5, 6, 7 lengths. A tremendous performance from Nisos, who gallops at first asking by close to 10 lengths. Tight photo for second between Urban Legend and Colorado Cruiser. Behind them, it was De Medici, and then it was another battle for fifth. Five, 1,536.85. Super high five, 14,448.50. In the pick 6 today, 6 of 6, good for $9,031.40. 5 of 6, 136.60. That concludes our live racing program for this afternoon. Racing resumes.
If you like to play maiden races, I've got good news for you. 7 of the 9 races today are for maidens. And even if you don't like to play maiden races, I've got even better news for you. That's because our seminar guest today is one of the most esteemed clockers in the morning anywhere in North America. His name, Andy Harrington. Andy, happy Sunday. Welcome to the seminar.
Thanks for the invite.
Great to see you. You know, you've been up obviously well before the crack of dawn, and you watched some workers today. Before we show some workers that are going to be running in the Breeders' Cup, baby, who caught your eye this morning out on the main track?
Speedboat Beach worked going for the Breeders' Cup sprint for Bob Baffert. I think he could turn the tables on Dr. Scheibel. They ran 1-2, and it was a zot between them, really. So I think he's moving forward.
How far did he go, and what was his time?
It went 1:11 and change. He used to run off earlier in the year, get washy. None of that. He's much more relaxed. Bob gave him the whole summer off, came back, and he's masterfully done his work today. Tamara for Richard Mandela going for the
2-year-old filly. Yep.
With Mike Smith up, brilliant drill, worked 6 furlongs alone, caught a little company midway with some Mark Latt that was in a separate drill, disposed of that horse. She's a real cool customer. Her mind is really good. She obviously has got a lot of ability. The 2 turns, which is the first time she's going to be seeing it, will be in the Breeders' Cup. I foresee no problems there.
Speaking of the Breeders' Cup, Andy, before we talk about today's 9-race card, we wanted to show some recent workouts here over the San Anita main track for some major contenders in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Let's first start with Arabian Night from the Bob Baffert barn. Arabian Night's last work was on October 16th here at San Anita. Why did you want to show this particular workout, Andy?
Well, I think this is the winning workout for a Breeders' Cup Classic.
Look at that time, 1:24 flat.
Yeah, and he worked out a mile in 1:36 and 4. And then I didn't even take it a mile and an eighth. He could have probably. This is a lightly raced horse. It's only raced 3 times this year. Go Rocket Ride beat it on the square and the Haskell, but this horse hadn't run, Arabian Night hadn't run in 6 months before that and was a little fresh. Came back and won the Pacific Classic over Go Rocket Ride and galloped out. If you watched the gallop on the Pacific Classic, he wanted more. He was well clear. I think this horse is coming up to the race just the total nuts.
Besides the time, Andy, what else do you see visually that kind of gives you that type of confidence to make the statement you just did?
His stride is so big. You just see it. He takes that. He's I call a left strider. He almost strides the same with his left as his right. So he's like
a lot of ground.
The equivalent of a left-handed, pitcher. His ears are always pricked. Bob does almost never works him in company. I think because he'll go 122 and he went 124. So he keeps them away from other horses. And generally Bob works all his horses in company. I just think he's afraid he's going to do too much in the morning.
And as you talked, take a look at this gallop out, right? You just don't see this on an everyday basis in the morning.
No, that's where they gave him 7/8 time right to there. And then I took him out a mile, like I said, under 137. Here. This is sort of an encouraged gallop is what I'd call it, But he's just going and going and going. I just think he's going to win. So there you go. I'm not the scoop in the world. He's probably going to be the favorite.
Now, the Breeders' Cup Classic is more than just a 1-horse race. And Arcangelo says, "Hold my beer. I won the Belmont Stakes and the Travers." He shipped out here early to train over the San Anita main track. And we're going to take a look at his workout on October 15th right here. Talk to us about this workout, Andy.
Well, he doesn't do really much. He strikes me as an East Coast. This is not a pejorative. He strikes me as an East Coast horse. He's kind of a grinder. His big work that they put in are on the gallops. He's a galloping machine. When they take him out for gallops, he gets a lot of work in. Here he just kind of clips off 12s. He works like I think I had a mid it and 1. He's asked in the lane. I don't think he does anything super flashy in the mornings. He's kind of the prototypical type of horse that wins a mile and a half race like the Belmont because they don't have like a move. They just keep grinding away at you and run you down. I'm not sure where he's going to be. I think it'll be further back in the Classic than he normally is because he's normally up on kind of tepid East Coast paces. I'll see what he's going to do when he's like 10 lengths back at the half-mile pole. So there's nothing to knock about the way he's training. See, he just grinds along. He blumps.
It's just when you think back to the way that Arabian Night worked, it's not as brilliant.
No. There's no, you can see one has a ton of speed, and this horse just, we'll see where he's going to be placed early on in the race and how it draws. But nothing to knock about the horse. He's doing fine. Like I said, he's a galloping machine. He's fit as heck.
Another Breeders' Cup Classic contenders from the Richard Mandela barn. It's Go Rocket Ride here, working in company with Salesman. What'd you see in this workout, Andy?
Well, this horse missed a little bit of time with a fever, apparently, Richard Mandela said. It had worked on 10-9 in the fog and was missed. So if anybody is looking for a drill on this horse on 10-9, it worked 6 furlongs. But then this is the 20th, so it's 11 days, which is unusual, which is different than his usual once a week type pattern. He breaks behind Salesman by 4 or 5 lengths here. Mike Smith is up. He has to work on him. And if you watch the chestnut up front, he's just waiting for him all the way down the lane. Go Rocket Ride will work next weekend, either Friday or Saturday, maybe, I'm assuming. And that drill will be super important to see if he steps forward off this drill, because this is a little bit of a less than drill. And I'm just ascribing it to that he missed some time with a fever and lost a little condition. You can see Salesman is dead. They're just keeping.
That's a hammerlock.
Yeah, that is a hammerlock. And Mike's urging his horse, and he urges him all the way down. They both go down to the 7/8 pole here with the chestnut, who probably could have won the drill, but you don't want to discourage a horse, and he's trying his best here. Next week, anybody who's watching this, see what Go Rocket Ride does next week, and if it's improved, then he's fine. But if he doesn't come back again if he comes back with a drill like that, then I might look elsewhere.
That's just a sneak peek at 3 of the Breeders' Cup Classic contenders. You can watch that every day free of charge at xbtv.com. It's one of the many resources Sandy provides you to become a better handicapper. We're all going to become a better handicapper when we find out who Andy likes on today's 9-race card. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramont and get the early changes on today's card here at the Great Race Place.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. The track is fast, and the turf course is firm. Rail on the turf remains at 30 feet. Here are the changes. First race starts the early pick 5, scratch number 1, Beer Money. Note that number 8, Drive for Show, the jockey Ricky Gonzalez. Number 9, Will Run, and scratch number 10, Whiskey Rye. 1 and 10 out of the first. No show wagering in race 2. Scratch number 5, Sugarfish. Overweight number 2, Asian Matriarch, 1 pound over. Santa Anita Park oddsmaker John White has issued a revised morning line for race 2. In the third race, no changes. The fourth starts the $1 pick 6, number 4, Coconut Girl, 1 pound over. Scratch number 6, Easter Coming Back. Fifth race begins the all-turf pick 3. It's on races 5, 7, and 9 today. We have a blinker note for number 2. Sixth starts the late pick 4. No changes. In the 7, scratch 4, Club Cal. Scratch number 9, El Oro. Note that number 10 draws in and will run. Eighth race kicks off the Golden Hour pick 4 with no high 5 wagering due to the scratches of 2, Castle Island, and 3, Admiral Halsey. Morning line maker John White has issued a revised morning line for the 8th due to those 2 scratches, which includes the morning line favorite. And in the 9th, number 9, Aviator Nation, 1 pound over. Golden Hour double begins with the 9th. Let's get back to Quigley's Corner. We have 58 minutes to post for the opener. Tom's guest today is Andy Harrington.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Andy Harrington. He's the clocker you can find at nationalturf.com. He puts out a daily workout report. I guarantee you'll become a better handicapper just simply reading his report on a daily basis. Andy, before we take a look at today's 9-race card, a question for you. XBTV.com is going to get a lot of activity from handicappers all around the country the next couple of weeks, watching the workouts that we just looked at, as well as many, many more. There's a lot of novices out there that watch workouts. You're a professional. Maybe what's one thing that people don't understand when they watch workouts that you could maybe guide them on?
Well, I personally, I have a little bit of, watching them in person, it feels like it's 3D, whereas I watch it on film, it's a little 2D. Sometimes I have a different impression of a drill when I see it in person than I do when I see it on film, and I'm not sure what that has to do with, maybe just the flattening effect of film. I think that if I had to ask tell a novice, I think I would pay the most attention to who works with who. I mean, that's just that's old school. That's Drysdale, Mandela, Baffert. If you see a maiden work with a stakes horse, then there's even if the maiden loses,
they're telling you in between the lines.
And if the maiden if the maiden loses by half length under pressure inside a stakes horse, forget it. It doesn't matter. You know, that the fact that the barn thinks that much of them to do that is the key there. So I really don't worry about those kind of drills so much. I don't. I used to get, the horses under pressure in company, and then he ends up in a maiden and this, against a stakes horse, and he pisses in, and I'm going, well, he was asked and he fell back. They know horses have intrinsic class, and they know who's outside of them that's just better than they are. And so that would be something I wouldn't make it a black mark against a horse to lose a drill like that.
Plenty of homework to do leading up to the Breeders' Cup. Day number 1 is on Friday, November 4th. November 3rd. That'll be in 12 days from now, so certainly sharpen your pencils. By the way, the Breeders' Cup field will be announced this upcoming Wednesday as well. All right, let's look at today's Sunday's card. Andy's kicking it off in race number 1, which begins the popular 50-cent early pick 5. We're sprinting 6 furlongs on the turf course for Calbred 2-year-olds. The rails today are at 30 feet. There's 2 scratches. Scratch the inside, number 1, Beer Money, and the outside, number 10, Whiskey Rye. That means one of the also eligibles, number 9, Don't Hit Me Bash, does draw in. Also take note, Mario Gutierrez does ride Don't Hit Me Bash. That means the jockey for number 8, Drive for Show, is now Ricky Gonzalez. The morning line favorite in the current betting choice is the cleverly named Tom Seaver, former pitcher for the New York Mets, who's up on the tote board at 8-5. Give us your thoughts on race 1, Andy.
Okay, I went in here. The 6 horse in here, Western Grit, showed a lot of speed from the rail. And if handicappers would note that many times the rail at Del Mar was absolute death for sprints. And this was one of the...
Including that day.
Including that day, for sure. He ran off a little bit. Edwin sent him, and this horse took off. He was down on a slog on the inside and understandably tired. It draws outside. It's trained solidly for Ryan Hansen in the dark. Rispoli goes to this horse, who's won an amazing amount of turf races out here. And I thought the price was decent. So I was going to 6, Western Grit, in a race that I don't think has a huge amount of speed now that the rail has scratched out Beer Money. So that's my number 1 pick. I went with Tom Seaver. He gated the other day with a horse called Devil Be Me for the field of Model Barn. As we were referencing before, Devil Be Me has won a couple races. This horse was second best. I didn't really hold it too much against him. Plus, it's a turf horse working on a dirt, which is always something you don't really have to, he doesn't have to worry about in here. So I laid him at the 2nd horse in here, but I did like Western Grit, the 6 horse at 5-1 with Umberto up.
The dam of Tom Seaver is Enola Gray, who Andy mentioned. She won her debut by 16 lengths. She banked over $585,000 in her career, so certainly the pedigree is there, being a son of Sir Prancelot. Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early pick 4. This time we're on the main track, 1 mile is the distance for maiden claiming 2-year-old fillies, in for a $32,000 tag. Scratch the 5, Sugar Fish. Just leaves us with a field of 4, and the revised morning line favorite is now number 3, Miss Pixie Sticks from the Bob Hess barn, now 6-5 according to John White. What's this race like according to Andy Harrington?
Well, I just went with 1 pick in here, and it's a 2-horse Asian matriarch who John Sadler claimed off of Peter Miller. This filly has always sort of sprinted like a router, so I'm guessing a little bit. He's always trained steady. There's been nothing brilliant about the horse, but this is a maiden 32, and the Tori Ablakid is up on the horse, who won a race for John yesterday. So he's putting up on live mounts. Hopefully this will be another one in this 4-horse field. The number 2, Asian Matriarch.
I think you've mentioned before, Andy, that Tyler Bays is maybe the hardest working jockey in the morning. Are apprentices like Tori Alba also out there in the morning that you've witnessed?
Everybody is. Everybody has to hustle out there. It is the jockey colony. When I remember clocking, I started clocking in 1990, and very few times jocks came out, at least in the top tier. You didn't see Eddie De La Houssaye or Pink Eye or Chris McCarron that often. You'd see them, but these guys, everybody works horses left and right. I'm talking about the JJ Hernandez. He's out. Everybody's out. It's a tough colony as far as mounts are concerned. So it's totally changed in that respect. So yes, everybody works every break. I mean, and some of them, like Tyler, are out there when the track opens. So, yeah, it is a different situation than it was 20, 30 years ago.
Race number 3, we're back sprinting on the turf course, this time 6 furlongs the distance for fillies and mares. It's a starter allowance race. We've got a field of 6, and number 5, Inner Beauty from the Jeff Mullins barn is the 2-1 morning line favorite. What are your thoughts on race 3, Andy?
I really like the 2-horse in here, Flame Magoon. It sprinted at 5 furlongs at Del Mar and didn't really get on track in a big field. Came back and they ran it in the dirt last time, probably just to try to get a race in at the end of Del Mar, which sometimes happens. They're just trying to take a shot. It didn't work out. Now they've taken a little bit of time. This horse was pretty effective here, winning races at Del Mar and at Santa Anita, sprinting on the grass. Goes to Abel Cedillo. 3 pretty decent drills in here. I think it can step up, and it might sneak away a little bit at a price in a small field. She's 4-1, and you might get all of that in here.
You also like number 5, Inner Beauty, going from a route to a sprint, who is the betting choice, 1 for 4 at this distance, but you do give her a little bit of a look as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they'll have to run her down in the lane. She's going to take him as far as she can take him. If nobody comes, I mean, the rails are out. It's a small field. I could totally see it.
Race number 4 begins the $1 pick 6 sequence. Yesterday's $1 payout for the pick 6, slightly less than $10,000. Congratulations to those skilled ticket holders. And we kick off today's pick 6 in race number 4, sprinting 5.5 furlongs in the main track. For maiden claiming Calbred, 2-year-old fillies in for a $50,000 tag. Scratch the 6 leaves us with a field of 5, including 2 trained by trainer Steve Miotti. However, the morning line favorite, taking blinkers off, is down on the rail, number 1, Big Rainbow from the Ryan Hansen barn. 8-5 on the morning line. Talk to us about race 4, Andy.
Well, the maiden palooza continues here. So I went with the favorite, Big Rainbow on the rail. Talking about hardworking jocks, Tiago came out and worked this horse at 5 o'clock the other day, who's another, like many of them, just hardworking guys. Came on well. There's not a lot of speed. The first-time starters, I don't have anything on, so I'd be surprised if they could run out the door first out. This horse is trained well enough. Blinkers off. It was going to help. So I went with Big Rainbow with a backup of the other horse that's been running, but dropping out of state-bred maiden allowance, Bella Vienna, the 3-horse in here. So I was between the 2 horses that had already run and against the 3 first-time starters.
Race number 5 begins both the 50-cent late pick 5 and the new wager here at St. Anita, the $3 all turf pick 3 that comprises the final 3 turf races every single day here at St. Anita, and you'll notice the minimum is $3. And we kick things off once again sprinting on the turf course, 6 furlongs the distance for maiden claiming fillies and mares, in for a $62,500 tag. We've got a field of 7. Number 4, Sorbet from the John Sadler barn, is the 8-5 morning line favorite. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Andy, we want to watch a workout here for number 7, Encolpian, who's from the Peter Urton barn. This workout was back on September 30th. A lot of activity here in this particular workout, but the chestnut is the one we're going to be focused in on. That's Encolpian. You'll notice when they turn for home that he's the one with the big white blaze down his nose. The exercise rider also is wearing a striped helmet, and you can see the company that she's keeping is with Laurent, who's a very talented 2-year-old from the Peter Urton barn as well, Andy. Yeah,
Laurent is in the back in the white shirt here. Somebody jumps outside of this horse who was working shorter, and as they come in the lane, he kind of gets away from that horse a little bit. And here comes Laurent, who's running a couple stakes races out here. But what I liked about this, it's fast in the game. I had 46-3, which for a turf horse is pretty good. And he's kind of just waiting. The rider's standing upright. You can see his head's turned looking over to the right, waiting for Laurent, who's being worked on to get by him. You can see he only diggles him a little bit at the wire just to keep his head in front. That's it. I thought it was an awfully good drill for a maiden. I know it's a 4-year-old and it's grass, but I thought this horse is stepping forward. And Pete Urton's barn is 42% for this meet, and he might have been about the same for Del Mar. He's been hitting on all cylinders the last 3 or 4 months.
We just saw in Copian's workout, and she's laid at 4-1 on John White's morning line. Is she your top selection in the race?
Absolutely. The 7 horse in here in Copian with my backup in here. A first time in the country horse for the Steve Miotti barn called Ha Ha Gloria, the 3 horse, who's had 2 representative drills. The gate drill was solid. I thought had a shot in here. But I did like the outside quite a bit in here, the number 7 horse.
Andy, before we take a look at race number 6, a question for you, and it relates to the main tracks, both at Del Mar and San Anita. You talked about at Del Mar, how many of the tracks were biased, whether it was inside, outside, and mostly early speed. My observation at this point during the abbreviated auto meet here at San Anita is there really hasn't been any severe biases. Would you generally agree with that?
Yes. I think that there can be a speed bias here, which is just West Coast tracks in general, but nothing like Del Mar, where there were some days you didn't even want to know. You didn't have any idea if the outside was going to be good and inside. It was it flip-flop. Especially early in the meet, you couldn't win on the inside. I have basically bad rails almost all through July at Del Mar, and the outside lanes were generally best. And then it kind of went back and forth after that. So I've seen none of that as far as inside, outside, just a slight speed bias in general.
Do you see biases in morning workouts? In other words, are there biases for the main track where you can downgrade a horse's performance simply where they're positioned on the track?
You know what? I don't think I've ever done that. So I
just not enough activity.
Yeah, they're going 3/4 speed. I don't think I've ever really, been smart enough to figure that out.
You got enough on your plate as it is. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4 for maiden claiming fillies and mares. In for a $20,000 tag. They're going 5.5 furlongs, a field of 6. The morning line favorite, who certainly is going to get plenty of attention in all the multi-race exotics, is number 5, Tiff with Jimmy from the Mark Glatt barn. 8-5 on the morning line with the Bug Boy in the saddle. The 2 main track efforts are outstanding. The turf races and the synthetic race is not all that hot, but nevertheless, one begs the question, why the drop in class? That's why we got you, Andy. Is Tiff with Jimmy ready to fire today?
Yeah, I wasn't being too creative in here, but they put this in for 52 races back, and so that kind of broke the cherry there. So they're gonna. I think they've tried everything with this horse: grass, synthetic, dirt, different tracks. So now they're just, you know what? She is what she is. She's in for 20. She's the only horse that has really much speed in here. Most of the horses have almost no speed. Torrey Alba put the Bug Boy up. That's kind of like, that's like race 101. Just send them to lead and see if anybody can catch the horse.
You don't need a long-term memory. These connections are certainly the jockey last time out. One with a John Sadler dropper as well, Bright Leaf yesterday.
Yes.
So certainly, this is a common move this time of year because people are being realistic now that certain horses have had so many races.
When you're a good trainer like Mark Glatt is, people are much less likely to take they figure if Mark can't figure this out, what am I going to do? So I think there's your reputation precedes you in this game to some extent.
It sure does. Race number 7, we're back sprinting on the turf course. 6 furlongs of the distance. Again, a starter allowance race. This is a mirror image of race number 3. This race, however, is for the boys. There's 2 scratches. Scratch the 4 and scratch the 9. That means number 10, So I'm Told, does draw in. Also take note, the runner returning off a long layoff, number 3, America Red, White, Blue, is a first-time gelding, and he's also the 5-2 morning line favorite. One of 2 in this race, trained by Mark Glatt, who we've talked plenty about today. Another winner for the Glatt barn here?
No, I went with Don't Swear Dave, the 8 horse in here. Finally gets back to sprinting on the grass, which is what it's one at. It's one here. It tried routing a couple times. And now it gets back to exactly what I think it wants to do. Blinkers go back on this horse, which it had on when it won a few months ago. A couple decent maintenance type drills, nothing skyrockety, but pretty good. So I went the 8, Don't Swear Dave, and then the always dangerous Devil Moon, the 5 horse. And here goes to Umberto Rispoli. You pretty much know who's going to have the lead entering the lane. And sometimes this horse holds on. He might be slowly creeping and getting better, winning last time.
Andy, I would be remiss in not asking you about the performance in last night's nightcap. A first-time starter from the Bob Baffert barn, a runner by the name of Nisos, ridden by Kyle Frey, earned a 96 Beyer speed figure, according to Brad Free from the Racing Form this morning. Did you like Nisos going into the race? And more importantly, what did you think of his performance yesterday afternoon?
Well, 8 and change is 8 and change. That's brilliant. I liked him yesterday. I actually, pat him back, bet him because I thought of the three
Great
Bafferts.
mutual, 13 and change.
Well, it's the other Baffert, a little known angle. I thought he was the most likely to win first out of those three. The rail horse, they're both, the other two horses, Mike worked, was on British Isles, was the third horse who didn't do any running, but he'll be fine going long. And the rail horse that ran, the
Mischief son, right.
Nisos ran into submission, is a decent horse too, but I thought both of them were more down the line horses, whereas I thought Kyle Frey would just send. I thought he'd actually have the lead by a couple. I was a little surprised he was dueling with the rail down the backside. I think he's a sprinter. I think he's really fast. And you get 3 Bafferts and you get $16, whatever it was.
Is there a maiden lurking in some stable that you're anxiously waiting for an appearance from? Anything? I mean, I know I'm putting you on the spot here and have to run through your whole library of workouts. But is there anybody in the last couple of weeks you saw that maybe I can't
think of anybody.
No, okay. You're a good poker player. Put it on Twitter if you can think of it later on.
All right.
Race number 8 begins the $1 golden hour pick 4. That wager is back into play. Now the Golden Gate has resumed racing, and if you're not familiar with it, links our last 2 races here at San Diego with the last 2 races at Golden Gate. It always pays well. Yesterday, it just paid shy of $4,000. Congratulations again to those ticket holders. And we kick things off here in race number 8, sprinting 6.5 furlongs for maiden special weights. There are 2 scratches. Scratch the 2, Castle Island, number 3, Admiral Halsey. Also take note the rail is a first-time gelding now. The revised morning line favorite at 7-5 is number 6, Central Dispatch. Let's take a look at a workout for Central Dispatch. This would have been back on September 10th at Del Mar. He's going to be on the outside here, and I know you saw this work. This was actually on closing morning of the Del Mar summer meet. And take a look at his workmate. His workmate down on the inside is another talented runner from the John Sadler barn, a multiple stakes winner by the name of Kings River Knight. And as we continue to watch this workout, this maiden called Central Dispatch really caught my eye in this workout, simply because, again, of the body language of the exercise riders. Central Dispatch is going toe-to-toe here with Kings River Knight.
Yeah, and Kings River Knight came down and went down the hill in the stakes race last weekend. This duo worked again here on October 8th, and it was kind of a similar situation. I couldn't separate them in that drill on the 8th, but this is back on September 10th, and they've been workmates more than a few times, which again tells you something what John Sadler's thinking, that he's putting his maiden with a stakes horse. So that's pretty impressive right there.
Now, you like a first-time starter drawn on the bottom from the Timiak Teen Barn, a runner by the name of Matanzas Creek. Tell us a little bit about what you've seen in the morning from this son of Empire Maker.
This horse worked with Practical Move on the 17th of September. The San Diego Derby winner who's going to the Breeders' Cup Mile, as I understand it. Was second best to that horse. Came back with a gate drill and outworked a couple Baffert horses. Point Doom was one, who's a decent horse. Draws outside, gets his preferred rider, Ramon Vasquez, who's the rider for Practical Move also. I thought he was 6-1 before the scratches. We'll see how it ends up. But I thought, Tim's barn has been, last year and a half has been terrific.
Castle Island from the Bob Baffert barn is coming back off a long layoff. We haven't seen.
He's scratched.
I'm sorry, he did scratch, and I didn't notate it, but you're absolutely right. What about the first-time gelding? I know you like the way that he's been working since he's been gelding.
This is a clocker sucker horse. I love this horse. He always looks really good. I'm hoping the gelding and the fact they go back to 6.5. I think I don't know how much heart he has, but sometimes at 6.5 they can go back and just roll by everybody before they know what's happening. This horse has a ton of ability. He just hasn't put it together in the mornings. The gelding can only help, but maybe they're grasping at straws down there. But he will outlook this field. I will tell you that.
Race number 9 closes out the day and closes out the week. Keep in mind, live racing resumes next Friday here at San Diego with a 1 p.m. Pacific time first post. And we close it out here in race number 9, offering $5 Golden Hour daily double wagering. Similar concept as the Golden Hour pick 4. Last race here with the last race at Golden Gate. And in race 9 here, We're traveling 1.125 miles on the turf course for maiden special weight caliber. It's a good field of 9. Number 4, Dark Marcus from the Peter Miller Barn is 5-2 on the morning line, ridden by Diego Herrera. Give us a winner to close it out, Andy.
I went with the pace play in here, the number 2 horse, Touchdown Kittle, with a Rispoli up again. This horse has worked. It doesn't show it here, but he also worked on October 9th. They missed it. We had a bunch of fog and a bunch of horses got missed. This was one. It's a pure pace play. I just think there's in a field full of 1.125 kind of dunderee plugs. This horse will be far clear. And Rispoli's good on the lead when he keeps horses going. So I thought at 4-1 he had in this field of horses I've seen plenty of. He looks like at least a standout for me at hopefully at a decent price, more than 4-1. We'll see. My second horse in here is Dark Marcus, who's the morning light favorite, as you mentioned. He keeps knocking on the door. He's going to eventually win. Maybe it'll be today. But I went with Touchdown Kittle, the 2 horse in here.
Andy, you're going to be a busy man the next 11 days or so as we continue to watch workouts leading up to Breeders' Cup. Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me. Always a treat to have you here on the seminar, sharing your insight with us, and nothing but good luck and success of the windows, just like with the Baffert first-time starter in the nightcap yesterday.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks to all of you for watching as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Next voice you'll hear will be track announcer Frank Miramati updating us with any late changes. Have fun, everybody. Good luck, and make some money.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. Here are the changes. The first race starts the early pick 5, scratch 1 beer money, scratch 10 whiskey rye. 1 and 10 are out, and number 8 drive for show will be ridden by Ricky Gonzalez. In the second, number 2 Asian matriarch, 1 pound over. Scratch number 5 sugar fish. And our morning line odds maker, John White, has issued a revised line. There's no show wagering in race 2. In the third race, no changes. Race 4 starts the dollar pick 6, scratch 6 Easter coming back. Note that number 4 Coconut Girl will carry 1 pound over. The fifth starts our all-turf pick 3, $3 wager on races 5, 7, and 9. Just that blinker note for race 5. Pick 4, late one, starts with the 6. There are no program changes. In the 7th, scratch 4 Club Cal. And scratch number 9 El Oro. Numbers 4 and 9 are out. Number 10 draws in and will run. In the 8th, there's no high 5 wagering. Scratch 2 Castle Island. Scratch 3 Admiral Halsey. Mr. White has issued a revised morning line for race 8, which starts the golden hour pick 4. And in the 9th, number 9, Aviator Nation, 1 pound over. Golden hour double kicks off with our 9th. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place, home of the 2023 Breeders' Cup World Championships. They'll be at the gate for the opener in 26 minutes.